Thank you, Your Honor.
Cross-exam.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I think I'm going to stay here for a while so we get a good recording. I want to talk to you about this timeline, this date that you referred to. You applied for a warrant from 12/25 to January 8th of 2023, correct?
That's correct.
And when I said 12/25, of course, I meant 12/25/22, correct?
Yes, 2022.
And when you draft a warrant, you are the one that picks the dates, correct?
Depending on the investigation, it can be yes.
Okay. And you were asked that question, that you applied for the warrant, and those were the dates that you requested.
Yes.
Now, it's fair to say, isn't it, that once you begin an investigation in a case, and if you learn more information, there's nothing stopping you from going back to a court and applying for a further warrant, correct?
It would depend because the courts have shown that we need to have a specific time frame, so I would need some information to show why I would need to go back to write for an earlier time.
Okay, well, but if you have that further information, nothing stops you from going back to the court and asking for a different warrant that encompasses different time periods.
Yeah, I could.
Okay, now, one of the things is that you don't have any information to tell this juror about of any of the data on the MacBook that originated before December 25th of 2022.
Confused by your question, so sorry. Yeah.
The data that you're telling this jury about today, you've said it a couple of times now, it's limited to 12/25/22 through January 8th, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So that's the data you're talking to them about, correct?
Yes, I only viewed that information.
You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that you have the entire contents of the MacBook, don't you?
I do have the contents.
And how far in date does the content go back on the MacBook?
I have no idea. I didn't look.
Because you limited your warrant to 12/25/22.
That's correct.
So if you thought, as an officer involved in an investigation, that there might be some important information that predates 12/25/22, you have every right, and there's a procedure for you to go back to the court and explain to the court why you think there might be more information back before 12/25, and see if you can get a warrant to cover that earlier information.
If I had information showing that there was more, then I could, yes.
Okay, and you never did.
I don't believe I had any other information showing that I needed to.
And you didn't have any information that you thought it would be important to your investigation to go back before December 25th, did you?
For my role, that's correct.
Okay. So, when we heard about, for instance, this Pornhub search, it occurred on 12/27. Remember that?
Yes, sir.
And we heard about some other Pornhub reviews, like Chatterbait, correct?
That's correct.
And something about Miss Bell, correct?
About what?
Miss Bell?
I don't remember it off the top of my head.
I'm sorry, Miss B.
I still don't remember, but okay.
Okay. Do you remember seeing record 831? Do you have I apologize.
I don't have that book up here to see it.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember seeing also a reference in the very same data that you've told this jury about that talked about a movie called, or something called, Slade, Dominant, Scarlet?
I would have to see it, but could I double check it?
Well, this pedestal doesn't work quite right.
I have my copy. If you want to just tell me the page, I can look. That's
You know, I do apologize. I'm going to give you the page in just a second.
okay.
I don't know why.
832.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure.
What was it? I'm sorry.
832.
Oh, record 832. I'm
Record
sorry. I thought you said
832. It's on page 227.
Thank you. All right. All right, I'm there. And yep.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Sure.
So now I want to focus your attention to record 831
Yes.
on page 226. Do you have that?
I do, sir. Thank you.
And it references something called Slade, Dominant, Scarlet, Straps, Cecilia. Right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you didn't testify about that to the jury, did you? Today, on direct examination.
No, I wasn't asked.
You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that when you look at these searches involving Pornhub, that in fact, there's a number of, and I keep referring to them as searches, but let me just ask this. There's a number of web pages that refer to what I'm going to characterize as pornography, correct?
It's about 10.
Right. And am I right to say that that cheating wife reference, what's the entire title of the cheating wife reference?
Cheating wife seduces another man to impregnate her. Scarlet Scandal, Seth Gamble, Erotica X, Pornhub.com.
Do you have any idea how that particular porn movie, whatever it is, do you know how it came about?
The only thing I say is that Pornhub was viewed and that that video was selected.
Okay. You would agree with me, wouldn't you, that there is no specific search term for cheating wife, is there?
Well, it wasn't in a Google search. It was through Pornhub, so it doesn't record that.
Okay, so your answer is I agree with you, or yes.
That there's no specific terms listed? That is correct. The video was there. Click on it.
Because you've already told this jury, and they saw it in a number of examples, that when the user enters a particular search term, the user, that it's a particular word, and then there's generally a plus sign that attaches it to the next search term, correct?
Only in the Google search engine.
Okay. And with regards to this movie Cheating Wife, there is no indication that the term cheating or the term wife or anything else was used to get to that movie.
As I said, I can't view any terms that were put into Pornhub, so it only shows me that search query in Google.
And let me ask you this. In part of your investigation, did you ever go and view some of that movie?
No, I did not.
Okay. But you did testify that there were times, like for other searches, you went and followed the document and the links, and you reviewed the document.
That's correct.
But with regard to this movie, you have no idea what this movie is about, correct?
That's correct.
And you don't know, then, prior to December 25th of 2022, how many times, whoever was looking at the map, how many times they frequented movies at Pornhub?
I didn't look at any data prior to December 25th.
Okay. And you don't know how long this person that was looking at this movie, how long they viewed the movie, or if they viewed it at all.
I do. It shows me a time frame of 7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes. And how long is the movie?
I have no idea.
Well, someone started watching that movie, they watched it for 7 minutes, and that was the end of it. Is that your testimony?
That's correct. And then I went to that Slade dominant Scarlet video.
Okay, and that Slay Scarlet, do you recognize the fact that there is some actress referred to with regards to the cheating wife name that's also named Scarlet?
That's correct.
So it's fair to say, isn't it, that you have no idea as you sit here today whether the person who is looking at this porn hub video, if they're trying to get access to movies that have perhaps their favorite actress or anything else of the sort, do you?
I don't know who this person is, so I have no idea.
So your answer is no.
That's correct. I don't know.
And quite frankly, Trooper, isn't it fair to say that when you open up some website like Pornhub, it comes open and it has all of these possible selections you can make?
I don't know. I'm not a peruser of Pornhub, but sure it has options.
Okay. So you have no idea what options were presented to the person that opened up this page, do you?
No, I don't.
But yet, it was important enough to include it in the data that you put into that binder?
With the information that we knew, yes.
Okay. And that information, let's just cut to the chase here, it's because of the word cheating wife.
That's correct, sir.
Okay, so just the fact that there was a phrase involving cheating wife, that to you was something that, okay, let's just include that in all this data and throw it out. Correct?
No.
Okay. So you didn't take the time to look to see what the movie was about. I understand that, correct?
That's correct.
You didn't take the time to see if the actor in the other movie, Slay, Dominant, whatever, was the same actress in the other one, right?
That's correct.
So you really just said, oh, I see the phrase cheating wife, and so I think that's important, so I'll include it in my data.
I'm going to object, Your Honor. It's a time frame.
I'll see you at the sidebar, side of the bench.
So, folks, my apologies, because I'm afraid that my question is misleading. This binder that has been marked as an exhibit contains the entire contents of what you found on the MacBook between the dates of 12/25/22 and January 8th of 2023.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So when I suggested in my question that you, sir, selected certain things, that is completely wrong, isn't it?
That's correct.
Okay. And so I should have used this word. You would agree that you were focused on, by the question, you were focused on the type of cheating law, correct?
Yes, I was asked that in direct.
But you were never focused on direct examination as to the other porn movie, the Slay Dominant or whatever the title was.
That's correct.
And since you decided not to go back prior to December 25th of 2022, you really can't tell this jury how many times and how many different movies were viewed on this MacBook porn movie.
It's not entirely true.
Because of the 12 visits?
That's correct. So I could look at visits and it could tell me Pornhub was visited. I'm just trying to look here to see how many times. And then it would also tell me, the video would also tell me how many visits. But I'm not sure if that's the entirety of the Spire history or just what I've collected.
Right. You're not sure if it's the entirety of what? Finish that sentence.
The web history that's in the device, yes.
So you just don't.
That's correct. I didn't go back.
And so I want to ask you now some questions about what you testified to on direct examination.
Okay.
Let's just start with the iPad Mini 13, device number 5. That's been marked as Exhibit 81. You told the jury about the events that you looked at, the event log that you created, correct?
Yes, well, it was an iPhone Mini 6, not a Mini 13. The phone was the Mini 13.
Okay. And well, you told us about Exhibit 81 being locked and unlocked, correct?
Yes, for the iPhone.
Okay. And you told us about how it could be locked or unlocked using either a password or face recognition.
Yes, that's correct.
And how long did it stay unlocked and then locked in the time period that you looked at?
I would have to see the report again, but I believe it's a couple minutes for each.
Okay. And did you ever determine what was being done on the phone during the time it was unlocked?
Again, I'd have to look at the Celebrate report to see other activity or go through the timeline view to see what the phone was doing. I didn't do a full invest into the phone. Trooper Keefe did.
I see. So Trooper Keefe can tell us about that.
I think so.
All right. It's fair to say that using Celebrate, this software you told us about, you can create reports that include certain information and exclude other information.
Yes.
And you can create reports, so to speak, with the Celebrate software that are restricted by date, correct?
That's correct.
And you can do term searches, correct?
Yes.
Well, you can.
Well, I was thinking my question was going to be if you're doing like an entire phone search or you're just looking, say, messages or web history, because there's different places to search these terms or whatever you're looking for, say a phone number or whatever.
Okay. So you can decide what information you want to look at using Celebrate, and then whatever information you're looking at, you can dictate what terms you think are important to search for, and then you can search for them.
Yes, if I had specified terms that I need to look for, yes.
And did you do a term search on the MacBook for instance, divorce?
No. For the MacBooks, I didn't do any term searches. I just did my timeline from what was allowed in the warrant.
Are you aware of the fact that, well, let me ask you this. On that MacBook that you told us about sometime, the reference to divorce and all the things we heard on direct examination, that only occurred on 12/27/2022. Is that fair to say?
I can only say what I've looked for from that time frame. If anything happened prior, I don't know.
But my question is, what you testified to, the references that you were asked multiple times on direct examination regarding divorce only occurred on 12/27.
That's correct from what I have.
And what was the time period for where all those searches you told us about reference to divorce? What was the time period?
I don't remember the exact time. I believe it was around 11 o'clock in the morning, but I could be mistaken. I would have to look.
What was the time period that was encompassed that covered the entire divorce searches that you referenced on direct examination?
As I said, I don't know the exact time. Would have to look to see.
And what time did those divorce searches that you referenced in direct examination, what time did they occur?
Again, I'd have to look at the notes to see the exact date and times.
But you would agree they only occurred on 12/27?
I believe that's the one they all happened, yes.
And one of the searches that you told the jury about had to do with something like 10 best states.
I think it was 5, but yes, 5 best states.
Did you take the time to look at those documents that refer to those searches?
I don't know if I looked at all of the divorce ones. I did look at some.
And you would agree that if someone were to be searching for divorce, they could be searching for the topic of divorce and how divorce might affect protection of family assets. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
Could that?
Yes.
It could, yes.
And are you aware, as you sit here today, that around that time of December 27th, are you aware of the fact that Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe were talking about the sale of one of their properties?
I did see Zillow searches in the MacBook for apartments in D.C., I believe, but I didn't know anything about sales.
Okay, did you ever take the time to examine the phone that belonged to Brian Walshe?
Again,
Picture has to form.
Is that
Sustains, specify what you're talking about, counsel.
what are the phones that you examined that were associated to Brian Walshe?
as I said, I only did a cursory look through the iPhone 13 regarding the device events, and that was about it.
So would Trooper Keith know more about that?
Yes, he did most of the mapping. Yes, that's true.
So I guess my next question is, are you aware of text messages between Brian Walshe and Anna Walshe encompassing the dates of December 25th and December 30th of 2022?
No, there were none in the devices that I looked at.
So when you were asked questions about your review of the MacBook and references to the divorce on or around 12/27, as you sit here today, you have no idea what was going on in text messages between Anna Walshe and Brian Walshe.
That's correct.
And you said you reviewed some of the documents that were associated with the divorce searches. Did you see any documents that specifically referenced what states were more beneficial when it comes to fees and the timing for judgment nisi and things like that in the context of a divorce?
Unless it was listed on the webpage, I didn't see any specific searches for that itself.
And did you, as you sit here today, do you recall reading any documents associated with those divorce searches that had to do with protecting assets of family?
No, I looked at these years ago. I haven't looked at them since.
Those searches that you were asked about on direct examination coming from the MacBook and the data that you extracted, the many searches that had to do with Chase. You recall those questions?
The Chase Bank?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's fair to say that by looking at the data that you based your direct testimony on, you cannot tell at all what specific data was being reviewed.
Again, if I can see the websites listed, sometimes it'll say you're in the accounts dashboard. It could list out, but again, I'd have to see exactly what you're describing.
Cooper, I guess the reason I'm asking, let me ask you this way. Okay. You investigate a case, correct?
Yes.
You're charged with looking at data like this, and you use specialized forensic tools to look at the data, correct?
Yes.
And you're trained to look at the data and try to interpret what the data is, correct?
Yes.
And then you share that information, don't you, with the Commonwealth, correct?
Correct.
And so now you were brought in here as a witness, and you were just asked questions about all of these searches that occurred regarding the case, correct?
Yes.
And is it your testimony then today that the Commonwealth never sat down with you and said, tell us what you can tell us about what's being looked at on those chase searches?
I wasn't asked to explain every chase website to them.
But were you asked a simple question? Can you tell us what the person actually viewed with regards to a chase account?
Again, if I see the data, I can explain it, but I can't see everything.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Yeah. No, I don't understand your question then.
Well, I just sat down with the Commonwealth in the context of this specific case and those chase searches and tried to explain to them what it is as the digital expert in the case, what was being viewed on the chase account.
Just that Chase had been, the website for the Chase account had been visited.
And that's it.
That's correct.
You would agree with me, wouldn't you, Trooper Guarino, that when someone enters specific search terms, then the browser or the search engine that they're using will generate a number of results, correct?
Yes.
And then the user can click on some of those results or bypass some of those results and just go to some other results.
That's correct.
And when you would agree with me then that when search results appear, they can lead the viewer, the user, to then follow that link and go someplace else, correct?
It's going to be based on the search term, and then it can send you to something similar, but not exactly what you wrote.
And is that what you told the jury about redirect?
That's correct.
And so when a user gets redirected to some other website or something, that's not that's not a result of the user saying, I want to be redirected. That is the software doing it on its own.
Well, the user would have to click on the web page for it to open for them to see it.
Right, but to be redirected, it's the algorithm or whatever's going on that directs the user to some other website.
Again, but it's going to be similar terms to what that were written. It's not like they type in, basketball and they get sent to, something about space.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe this is, I'm not asking. I'm saying someone types in particular search terms, and then the software, the browser, then generates search results.
That's correct.
And at times, the browser and the software redirects the user to something that it thinks, hey, maybe this is what is relevant to what you're looking at.
Yes, that's correct.
And I know that it doesn't talk to the user, but you understand that.
Yes.
And you saw instances of that when you reviewed the data in that.
Yes, I don't know the exact number, but there's a handful that I saw.
And Trooper Guarino, when someone is doing a search for something like how to dispose of a body, did you follow that link to the result of that specific query?
Don't know if that specific one, but I did go to many of the ones that were listed.
And so as you sit here today, can you tell the jury then that if you were to put in that particular query, how to dispose of a body, that the results would include things like cemetery names or other things like that?
Well, it would constantly change. So if I did it now, the results would be nothing like they were 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, and that wasn't my question.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let me ask you again. That if someone
I
was
would-
in
yeah.
specific search terms like how to dispose of a body, the results could simply be, here, take the body to a cemetery, something like that.
Again, I would have to search it to see. I can't say
So you
definitively.
didn't do that.
For that specific one, no.
And so it's fair to say that when someone is using specific search terms, sometimes you have to add additional terms to get information that might be more helpful to what you're asking them.
So like adding more words? Is that what you're saying? That could be, yes.
So it could be the fact that to get more specific information about, for instance, how to dispose of a body, you would then have to add another search term like murder to get more specific information that you might be looking for.
I can't say.
So you didn't try that out in the context of your investigation in this case.
Again, this was years ago that I did this, so I have no recollection of it.
But you would agree with me, wouldn't you, that just in a general context, whether we're talking about terms like murder or any other term, sometimes to get more search results, you have to add more terms.
Again, I can't say for certain.
So you would agree, wouldn't you, that your review of the MacBook data that you extracted, that all of these dark search queries that you were asked specifically on direct examination, that they all occurred only after 4:52 a.m. on January 1st, 2023?
That I was able to see, yes.
When you say able to see, what do you mean?
Well, I didn't have anything going back prior to the 25th, so I only have what was limited via the search warrant, but everything was from the 1st to about, I believe, the 4th.
But we've already been through this, so
Yeah.
let me ask you again. If you wanted to see if there was a search is conducted on this MacBook where someone is trying to figure out how to dispose of a body before January 1st of 2023, and you thought that was important to your investigation, once again, you could have gone back and applied for a warrant to see if there were, right?
Well, I'd have to show probable cause for the warrant to show why I would need to go back further than the 25th that I've already written for.
So you had no probable cause then to go back to the court and say, I have reason to believe that someone might have been trying to learn how to dispose of a body prior to January 1st of 2023 at 4:52 in the morning.
Objection.
Overruled.
That's correct.
In fact, in all of your examination of the data that you did look at, the data that you chose to limit to 1225 and January 8th, you saw nothing in the data dating back to 1225 that indicated any searches that were relevant to how to dispose of the body.
That's correct.
You saw no searches about anything about DNA or anything of the sort.
That's correct.
You saw no searches about how to get rid of blood.
Yes.
You saw no searches about how to use hydrogen peroxide to clean up.
Yes.
Yes, meaning you didn't see any.
Yes, that's correct. I didn't see any.
But you would agree then, just try to end this particular problem. If you had, what you referred to this jury here, probable cause to think someone had tried to plan murder, you could have gone and applied for a warrant to see if there was data on that map.
Objection.
Sustained.
In your review of the MacBook digital data, did you see anything indicating a search for a man named William Festa?
Yes. Was that on? I believe so.
Do you recall when that search was?
I don't. I believe it was prior to January 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
So you have no recollection as you sit here today that you had a discussion with the Commonwealth about searches specific to William Festa?
No, that's correct.
By the way, I understand that these exhibits, these bindings, sometimes they're referred to as reports, but it's a report generated by Celebrate, correct?
That's correct. Or Axiom.
Or Axiom.
Yeah.
And regarding a report, you never wrote any report summarizing what it was that you found on the map.
That's correct. I take it directly from the software. That way I don't make any mistakes from transcribing it from one to another.
And is it fair to say that this binder that you have there on the shelf, it's 1,034 pages long, correct?
I believe so.
And it contains many, many entries referred to as records, correct?
Yes.
How many records?
I can tell you in a second. 3,677.
Out of those 3,677 records created in this Celebrate report, can you tell the jury how many of those records are relevant to your investigation specific to this?
The exact number of the records? No, I couldn't.
Can you give us an estimate?
No.
You would agree, wouldn't you, Trooper, that it's a very relatively small amount of those records, those over 3,000 records, that have any relevance to the point of the investigation of this case?
No.
Well, then how many records do apply to the investigation of this case?
Again, I'd just be guessing, but I think a good portion.
And what's a good portion?
I don't know. I don't have a specific number.
I got it.
Counsel, see if it's not event.
I understand somebody needs an unscheduled break and the day is getting long. Just at the 3:30 hour. We've done a lot of work today, so I'm going to let you, of course, use the facilities, but I'm also going to send you on your way for the day and we'll be back ready to work. The weather, I know you guys aren't watching, you're not listening to the news media, so the weather turns out to be nothing but would say. Safe travels home. Before I leave you, I want to remind you, jurors, don't do any research about this case. Continue to be vigilant about not listening to any news media, any social media. Talk to anyone, don't do any research about the case. Continue to have open minds. With those warnings, you're ready to come home tonight. Appreciate your work. To see you back. You're ready to work in the morning.
All rise, if you would, please. Jurors, close your notebooks.
Morning. Just so you understand, you're still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
You may be seated.
Thank you.
And you may proceed.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
So just a couple of recaps here. That binder that's been marked as Exhibit 79, the binder of the history that you included of the MacBook Gray device, we can all agree it contains 3,677 records as you defined them yesterday.
Yes, well, half technically because they're duplicates. Shows the first one from the parsed and the second one from the carved, but they're the same record. So it'd be about, what, 1,800-ish, realistically.
I don't understand your answer.
So if you look at the binder, it shows one record, say record number 1, shows the information, the parsed information, and then this record number 2 shows carved. It's the same date and time stamp, the same information, just a different location in the database. So it's almost duplicated.
Okay. Here's my question.
Yes.
In the binder that's been marked Exhibit 79, you listed 3,677 records.
Yes.
And it totals 1,034 pages.
I'll take your word. I don't have it in front of me, but yes.
Do you have a copy of it?
I don't up here with me now.
Mustn't have gone far. We can find it.
Sure.
Thank you. Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yesterday, you testified to the binder that was admitted as Exhibit 80, and that was the regarding the iPad Mini.
Yes.
It involved 2 separate extractions.
Same extraction, but 2 different versions of the software. Yes.
Wasn't it labeled Extraction 1 and Extraction 2?
I didn't label it that, but that's how it is labeled. Yes.
In any event, it's clear now, isn't it, based on your forensic analysis, that the searches that were found on the iPad Mini were not conducted on the iPad.
Yes, that is correct.
That you used the term sync yesterday, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And you used the word sync in the context that the searches, based on your forensic analysis, originated on the Gray Mac.
That is correct.
And when we say sync, and when you say sync, it means that, in part, that no one manipulated that iPad Mini with regards to all the searches that this jury's heard about.
That's correct. Yes.
You told us yesterday that there are multiple records, as you defined it, records in this Exhibit 79 that have the same timestamp, correct?
For this binder here, the 79?
Exhibit 79, yes, sir.
Yes, that's correct.
And you told us specifically, if I heard you right, that does not mean that there were multiple searches with the identical timestamp, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And it does not mean that the website that's referred to in each one of those duplicate records, it doesn't mean that that website was visited twice.
Unless the visit count says twice, then yes, but like I said, that parsed and carved record, there's the same record of the same thing that happened, just different spots pulled from the database. So,
and you did not, in what's been marked Exhibit 79, you did not indicate to whoever looks at Exhibit 79 what were those duplicate records.
I did.
How'd you do that?
I spoke with the prosecution, our ADAs, and explained what this is and how it parses out the data and when it prints out.
What I'm asking you, though, is when someone opens up that book, and let's just say someone like a juror, when they open up that book, there's nothing to indicate to them out of those 3,677 quote records which one is duplicative and which one is not.
Well, I just testified to it now and also on direct, and it also shows in the book the same date and time stamp when I explained the parsed and carved records. I don't have a paper written report, if that's what you're trying to infer. Paper written, handwritten report, if that's what you're trying to infer.
I'm really not trying anything. I'm just asking you that if someone were to look at those 3,677 records, there's no term used that says this is a multiple, this is a duplicate of record 1 or record 2. It says nothing like that in the book, does it?
Objection. You can answer.
I don't fully, so you're asking if there's something that says that one's a duplicate and one's not?
I've asked, yes, that's what I'm
Okay.
asking.
By the same date and time stamp on the record, and as I explained, the parsed and carved, but I don't know if there's anything, like there's no key guide that says what it is.
Okay.
If that's what you mean.
And yesterday you also told us about something called redirects, correct?
Yes.
And that a redirect means that the computer or the device on its own, with the software, with the browser, redirected the user to another website.
When they click on a website, it can redirect, yes.
Okay. And it's the device and the software operating within the device that determines a redirect. It is not the user.
That is correct.
And you don't have anything in this 3,677 records. You don't have, we'll use your reference, an index or anything to indicate the reader of this Exhibit 79 what are redirects and what are not.
That's correct.
And you have no idea how many, quote, redirects occur within this Exhibit 79.
Just the few that I saw. So I don't know. I don't have an exact number.
Okay. You would agree that with regards to Exhibit 79, that there was no activity on the gray MacBook between 3:50 a.m. and 4:52 a.m.
On what day?
January 1st of 2023.
Again, I'd have to double check. I remember there was Gmail usage around the 3 a.m. point, and then 4:52 there was some searches, but I don't know if there's anything in that time frame in between.
What, if you will, sir, maybe you could check.
Yep.
Counsel, can I see this side of the bench?
Did you find that?
Yes, I have it here, sir. Thank you. Yes, you're correct. 3:50 a.m. is record 1947, and then the following record is 1948 at 4:52 a.m.
Yesterday, you testified that you recalled, or you thought you recalled, reference to William Fasto within the MacBook data.
That's correct.
Do you know where that is?
No, I don't.
Can you indicate, well, you just said no, you don't. Trooper Guarino, if I represented to you that there is absolutely no reference to William Fasto within these 3,677 records, would you agree with that?
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember seeing it somewhere, but I don't know if it was in the MacBook. There's, like I said, a lot of data.
It's fair to say, isn't it, that your examination of exhibit that's contained in Exhibit 79, there's no indication that that MacBook and any user of that MacBook ever accessed Anna Walsh's iMessages?
Her iMessages? No, I never saw any indication of that.
I'm going to refer you to page 555, record 2055.
What record number you said? 2055?
2055.
Okay, got it.
And that search query is what is disposal of dead bodies?
That's correct.
There's no reference to murder in that query, correct?
That's correct.
And that query occurred at 6:36:18, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I'm going to refer you to stay on that same page, page 555, record 2057,
Okay.
that occurred at 6:36:22,
Yes.
and it regards body disposal options.
Yes,
No reference to murder, the word murder, correct?
that's correct.
Turning to the next page, 556, record 2059, that occurred at 6:36:30, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
The search query involves cool ways to be buried, correct?
That's correct.
There's no reference to murder, correct?
That's correct.
Page 557, record number 2061,
Okay.
that occurred at 6:36:33,
Yes.
and it's a query of above ground burial options, correct?
That's correct.
And there's no reference to murder.
Yes, that's correct.
Yesterday, you did testify to some search queries that did include the word murder, correct?
That's correct.
And you would agree that these searches that we're talking to the jury about today, they began at 4:42 on January 1st of 2023.
452, but yes.
4:52. The first time the term murder was introduced in these searches was at page 596, record 2185. That's correct, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't memorized all of these, as you can
No,
tell.
I know you're looking.
But what record number you said?
Okay. Page 596, record 2185.
Yes, I have that here. I
And
see
that,
it.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I cut you
I
off.
was just going to say, I see it here. I don't know. I don't believe there's any other things with murder in the keyword search prior.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if there's any other words with keyword searches for Google with the word murder in it prior to this one. Again, like I said, I haven't memorized all of these records. It's quite a bit of them.
Well, if I represented to you that the first time the word murder appears in these searches is at page 596, record 2185. Would you agree with me?
I see it here, so I can just take your word for it.
Okay. And that occurred at 11:28:43 a.m.
Yes, that's correct.
So the first time the word murder appeared in all these records was approximately 6 hours after these searches began.
Again, I'd have to take your word for it, but it seems that.
And that search that we just talked about, the search at 596 record 2185, the one we just spoke about, that occurred right after a search at 595 record 2181, where the query is best way to dispose of body parts quietly.
That's correct.
And that occurred at 11:27:56 a.m., correct?
Yes.
So yesterday I asked you some questions about the use of additional terms to get a different search result. You remember those questions?
Yes, sir.
And that is one example in Exhibit 79, where first a search query did not use the word murder, and then it did use the word murder to get different results, correct?
I can't speak to the user's frame of mind when they're searching for something. I can just say yes or no to what the data shows. So those search terms have it, some don't. That I can't speak to why someone is searching what they're searching.
You testified yesterday, and I'm going to give you a cite, page 694, record 2507. If you can turn to that.
Yeah, sorry.
Page 694, record 2507.
Okay.
And that has to do with a query about hard drive removal.
Yes.
Correct? It's fair to say that tell us when that search occurred.
January 2nd, 2023 at 2:01:19 a.m.
Now, you're aware of the fact that certain devices, all made by Apple, were first turned over voluntarily to the police on January 6th of 2023.
No, that's not true.
You would agree that certain devices were turned over to the police on January 6th of 2023.
Yes, certain devices were.
And when those devices were turned over, those devices were examined, correct?
Yes, they were.
And all the hard drives were intact in all those devices.
Well, yes, they were.
And there was no evidence that any of the hard drives had been tampered with, correct?
Well, the products that we were
Was
given,
there any evidence that the hard drives in any of those devices turned over on January 6th had been tampered with?
they don't have standard hard drives that a PC has. They have different hard drive types. They're soldered onto the motherboards of these devices.
So there was no evidence that anything had been tampered with.
That's correct for these chips.
And then you're aware of the fact that then on January 8th, strike that. Let me ask that again. Those devices that were turned over on January 6th were returned to Mr. Walshe on January 7th.
Yes, that's correct.
And then those same devices that were first turned over on January 6th were seized on January 8th or thereafter.
On January 8th, yes.
And additional devices were also seized on January 8th.
Yes, they were.
And one of those devices that was seized on January 8th was this gray MacBook, correct?
Yes, sir.
The gray MacBook whose data appears in Exhibit 79.
Yes, sir.
And there was no evidence after a forensic examination of all the devices now in the possession of the state police that none of the hard drives had been tampered with.
Like physical tamper with, sir? Like physically or like trying to take them apart?
That's one
Yes.
question. We'll do it that way. Physically?
Other than the damage to the devices, no, there was no tampering, like screws missing that I saw.
And when you say the damage to devices, are you talking about the one iPad mini that was cracked?
Yeah, well, and the screen on the gray MacBook, the display itself was not broken, but the LCD screen had like a flicker. It didn't work perfectly.
And none of that affected the data within those devices?
No, that's correct.
Yesterday, you testified with regards to a search history search at page 888, record 3127.
I have 888. Which one?
Record 3127.
Okay.
That search occurred on January 3rd of 2023, correct?
That's 7:30 p.m.
At 7:38, correct?
That's correct.
And that search involved, can police get your search history without your computer, correct?
That's correct.
And once again, without repeating the same question, all those computers and iPhones and iPads were turned over on various dates, January 6th and January 8th and thereafter.
That's correct.
And you're unaware that any other computer or any other iPad or any other cell phone had been destroyed or otherwise disposed of.
Just one cell phone.
Okay. And the search history on all of these devices that were turned over, it was all intact, wasn't it?
Yes, the devices that were either turned over or seized during the warrant were.
And in your forensic analysis of all these devices, you did not see any evidence that anyone tried to remove, delete, or otherwise change the search history contained on these devices.
That's correct.
Yesterday, you testified to cell phone history search, and that's at page 904, record 3184.
Yep, I have it.
And you're aware of the fact that Mr. Walsh was interviewed beginning on January 4th, correct?
I don't remember the exact days. I got involved in the case on the 6th, but I know he was spoken with prior to that.
That query, that search query that we just talked about, page 904, record 3184, that was conducted on January 4th at 8:55 a.m., correct?
That's correct.
But as you sit here today, you're not sure when Mr. Walsh was first interviewed by the law enforcement at his home.
That's correct.
Are you aware of the fact that he was not just interviewed once on January 4th, but twice? Are you aware of that? Were you ever, I guess your answer is no.
That's correct. I don't know.
Are you aware of any dates that Mr. Walsh was in fact questioned or interviewed by the police at his home prior to his arrest?
I just know it was prior to the 6th.
In any event, in all of the devices that you did in fact forensically examine, you saw no evidence that any user tried to destroy any cell phone history as it applied to the cell phones, correct?
To Mr. Walsh's?
Yes.
That's correct.
Now, my understanding from your testimony yesterday is that you did not specifically conduct a full examination of any of the iPhones that were seized.
That's correct.
That would be Trooper Connor Keefe.
That's correct.
A user that uses these devices can delete information, can't they?
To a point.
But the fact of the matter is that those forensic tools that you use, Celebrite, Magnet Gray, Axiom, when you run the data that you extract from a device, that software can detect where a deletion occurs.
As I said, to a point.
It's fair to say that in your examination of the MacBook, device 3, and in all of those records in Exhibit 79, there's no indication that any data had been deleted.
I didn't see anything glaring.
Yesterday, you talked about the Chase account login data, and specifically the Chase login data that occurred on December 27th of 2022. Do you recall that?
Vaguely.
I refer you to page 259, record 951.
Thank you. What was the page again? 259, you said?
259.
Thank you. All right, I have it.
And you would agree with me that that particular activity, the Chase login, that extended up to and including record 1026, found at page 279.
Yep, I have it.
And it's fair to say that you do not know what was reviewed during that Chase login.
No, I do. I can see right here. So it goes, each URL, if you go into it, shows dashboard, overview, accounts. There's another one that shows a dashboard, authorization, his when he signed out.
Do you know the details of what he viewed?
What was actually in his account? No.
Okay.
I just know that the headers for the Chase accounts that he was at.
So you don't know if the user was looking at balances, deposits, anything like that. You just know that he logged in to the Chase account.
Yes, whatever covers under the account overview or his login information, that's all I can tell. I don't know if he made transactions or...
And you do not know if there are multiple accounts associated with that Chase login.
That's correct.
I'm going to refer you to page 906, record 3195. Are you there yet?
No, you got me going from one end to the other. All right.
3195.
3195.
Okay. 319. Okay, have it.
That's another Chase login, isn't it?
That's correct.
Occurred at 3:58:26 p.m. on January 7th, correct?
Yes, sir.
And now I'm going to refer you to record number 3292 on page 930.
Okay.
That's another Chase login, isn't it?
He's already logged, well, he's logged in from earlier. So it's the same login.
It's not the same login that's referenced at page 906-3195, is it? Because that login occurred on January 7th, correct?
Well, if you go back through, oh, I see the date change. Yep, it goes all the preceding ones were also Chase from the 7th and then the 8th.
So the reference specific to page 930, record 3292, that's a Chase login that occurred the next day on January 8th, correct?
Yes, that's true.
And that's at 3:02 a.m., correct?
Yes, it is.
So what you saw in this MacBook data was multiple logins on the Chase account, correct?
Yes.
And they spanned many days during this period that you examined it, 12/25/2022, up to and including January 8th of 2023, correct?
Yes.
So there were many Chase logins apart and aside from the Chase login that you testified to on direct examination yesterday that occurred on December 27th of 2022, correct?
Yes.
You'd also note, and I'll focus your attention on page 948 at record 3362.
Okay.
That involves a login to a Fidelity account, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And that login occurred at 7:04:21.
Yes.
So there are multiple logins involving financial institutions within that MacBook data that is contained in Exhibit 79, correct?
Yes.
And as you sit here today, you cannot tell this jury how many times there was a Chase login on this MacBook between 12/25/2022 and January 8th of 2023.
Unless I see the last visited count or I go through and hand count them, then no.
And the same question, you can't tell us how many times the Fidelity account was logged into between December 25th, 2022 and January 8th of 2023.
That's correct.
And of course, you didn't examine any data on the MacBook prior to December 25th, 2022, so you have no idea how many times Mr. Walsh or anyone else logged into the Chase account prior to December 25th of 2022.
Yes.
I want to focus your attention to page 279 through 280 and record 1029 that is referenced on 279.
All right. Okay.
Do you have that in front of you?
Yes, sir.
That was a Google search that occurred at 9:37:07, correct?
Record 1029? Yes.
And that occurred, once again, on 12/27, this 12/27 date that we keep hearing about, correct?
Yes.
That search and those results had to do with Porsches, didn't it?
Yes.
Had to do with someone searching for Porsche cars, correct?
Yeah, it looks like it says 911 Porsche 2009 for sale.
And one of those searches involved a Porsche for sale in Cohasset, didn't it?
I don't know. I can look. Oh, I see it. Yep.
That's a yes?
Car Gurus, yes.
Okay. That search that I just asked you about that occurred on 12/27, that search happened right after those Chase searches that occurred on 12/27, didn't it?
Yes.
And that Porsche search at 279, 280, and the other searches thereafter, they occurred right after those searches that you referenced yesterday to the jury about divorce, correct?
I believe so.
I'm going to focus your attention now to page 2.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
They did. I just went back. I saw it.
I'm going to focus you now to page 234, record 863.
2, 3. Okay.
That is a search that occurred on 12/27, once again, and it occurred around 8/23/13, correct?
I have 82308, but yep.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you to go forward to record 870 and ask you to look at those records that run from 863 to 870. They all involve searching for a diamond ring, don't they?
Yes.
And one of the specific queries is a 4-carat diamond, correct?
Yes.
And there's a specific reference in the search at page 236, record 870, that it references BlueNile.com diamonds, correct?
That's correct.
These searches that you just testified to regarding searching for diamonds, they occurred just before the searches that you told us about regarding the divorces yesterday, correct?
Yes.
Talking about those divorce searches now, the divorce searches that occurred on 12/27, they start actually with a search at page 240, record 887, and the search involves Katie Holmes' divorce.
Yes.
Katie Holmes is an actress, do you know?
Yes.
And so that is the first search that appears on 12/27 that includes the term divorce, correct?
Let's see. I believe so.
And then there's the searches that we talked about, you talked about yesterday on direct. And it's fair to say, isn't it, that those searches regarding divorce you testified to ran from page 241, record 891, to page 258, record 948.
Is that the question? Did I?
Yes.
Yes.
And you characterized them yesterday when asked by the Commonwealth. How do you characterize the nature of those searches? All showing divorce advice. Your words, correct?
Not gonna lie, I forget what I said, but I believe so.
Okay. So it's fair to say that if they ran from 8:33 to 8:54, that'd be a total of 21 minutes, correct?
Yes.
That's 21 minutes of looking at divorce, as you characterized it, divorce advice, in over 15 days of data that you extracted from the MacBook, correct?
Yes.
And these divorce searches, once again, they occurred after the diamond searches, right after them, didn't they?
Yes.
And they occurred before the Porsche searches, didn't they?
Yes.
And these searches occurred before the Chase searches that you testified to.
Yes.
So on 12/27, that extracted data from the MacBook shows it all right around the same time there was a Chase login, correct?
Yes.
Looks like someone was shopping for a diamond ring or a diamond, correct?
I don't know if they were shopping for it, but they were looking at it.
And somebody was looking at Porsches for sale, correct?
That's correct.
And there was no divorce-related searches that occurred in the data you looked at from 12/25 up to and including up to the 12/27 divorce searches.
Not that I saw.
It's fair to characterize these searches that you testified to yesterday that they began at 4:52, and sometimes the searches only seem to last no more than a minute.
I can't speak to the time frame for all of them because I don't have them all memorized, but I know some were short, some were not.
But in fact, if someone reviewed Exhibit 79 carefully and looked at the data would reveal, wouldn't it, how long and how short some of these searches went from one search query to the next, correct?
Yes, that's true.
And it would also show that during these searches that were being conducted, that at times the software, the browser, would then redirect and send the user to someplace else, and then a new search would be conducted, correct?
Again, I don't remember being all that many, but yes, that could happen.
And there are searches that include searches of what detergent to use to clean up, correct?
Clean up what?
Clean up a wood floor? You recall that. If you don't, that's fine.
Yeah. I remember having something else in that search string, but I don't remember just how to clean wood floors.
Okay. Do you remember, as you said here today, anything about searches for concrete floors?
Yes.
Okay. All of these searches, they go on not just for one day. These searches go on for at least 3 days, don't they?
I believe they go from the 1st to the 4th.
Okay. And on January 3rd, There are searches about how to deal with smells and odors from a decomposing body, isn't there?
Yes.
And those searches about how to deal with an odor, they don't even begin until January 3rd, do they? If you know, if you don't, that's
I
fine.
thought on the first there was one, how long it takes for a body to start smelling.
But not how to, that's correct.
Yeah,
Not
but
how to clean it up.
That's correct.
And not how to mask the smell or anything of the sort.
No, there is January 1st, 4:58. How long does a body stop smelling?
And not how to mask it, correct?
That's correct.
And not how to clean it up.
I'm not seeing that.
You're not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it. I'm just seeing the beginning ones that I've already talked about.
That's all I have.
Redirect.
Very, very briefly. 79. If we could just put up Exhibit 79, page 593, just to clear up one thing. Record 2171. If you could just read that title, please, Trooper.
Yep. It says your spouse is missing and you want a divorce / hello divorce.
And what is the date and time for that?
January 1st, 2023, 10:49 a.m.
So that is after 12/27 of 22, is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And Trooper, you talked about on cross-examination, you were asked about devices that you received on January 6th of 2023 by Mr. Walsh. Did you receive the MacBook?
No, I did not.
You received, what did you receive?
The iPhone 13 mini and 2 iPads, iPad 6 and iPad 6 mini.
And did those have hard drives like a laptop?
No, they have memory chips similar to the MacBooks, but not like a PC hard drive.
And did you find at the search warrant a PC or a laptop with a traditional hard drive?
No.
And did you search the house for a traditional laptop or a PC?
Yes, I did.
A moment. Thank you.
Any recross?
No.
The witness may step in.
Thank you.